Hey everybody, 7 o'clock Tuesday evening. Time for some Toy Tuesday. Yes, we're going to check out some super cool, super early license plates tonight. So since we are live, we'll give everybody a few seconds to get their notification, and then we will get on and get rolling tonight. Now, this collection's fairly big, 60-some plates. Obviously, no way we're going to get to all of those tonight. So we will probably kind of focus on the early plates. Is kind of what we'll start with tonight, and then probably try to catch the rest of them next week. Kansas started, Norma's on with us. Kansas started state-issued license plates in 1913. So that's where we're going to start tonight, just to give you an idea. Now, prior to that, like a lot of states, Lee from New York made it. Kansas, regionally, like cities, towns, things like that, had their own license plates. Great Bend, the town where I live, actually had a porcelain plate in the 1910 to 1912 area. Big Job's on tonight, too. Bill made it. Randy's here. Brandon's here. Lots of familiar names, lots of familiar faces. As always, thanks for coming back, making this thing what it is. Because if you weren't here, it would be pretty boring. So I'm glad you are. And like I said, tonight we're going to get into this big license plate collection. Ryan and Amy are on with us. Kevin L's here that I just recently got. Now, we sold a couple of plates the other night. I've got a lot more coming that we're going to start just selling in the auctions. Bud's on. Over the years, Dennis made it. As I found early license plates, especially the really early stuff, teens, 20s, 30s, I always just kind of rat-holed that stuff. Always wanted to put a big collection together. I've got one board over in the other shop that I've had for quite a while that is 30s up to early 50s. Jim's here, number one, Bronze God mode. No, just different building, different lighting. John's here, Eloy made it. Peter from down under, Tweedledee. So that's kind of where we're going to focus tonight. But like I said, since I had, just over the years, when I'd find these old plates, I just rat hole them here and there and here. And I'm starting to dig some of them back out because I'm going to start sharing them with you guys on the Sunday night auctions to add to your collection since I got this whole set. That's right, Bill, it's Sunburn. That's actually a better one. God Monster's on. But like I said, I had one board. Hood ornament made it perfect. Tweedledee, glad it did. Hanging up in the other shop that I got from another old timer who was a good friend of mine that I'd known for years, and I managed to get that out of his collection. This particular collection, once again, came from a long-term friend of a guy who's been in our local car club for years, known him since I could walk. Just, we're never like we're really super tight family friends, but just kind of one of those guys was always there, was always around the local car shows, always knew him, always treated me very well, even when I was a little kid. And that, to me, is part of the reason why this collection is so important to me, because of where I got it from. And to me, it's sad that he's gotten to the age where he's selling stuff off. However, for me personally, being able to add a piece of his collection to my collection, is awesome because I'll always remember that. The other board that I've got of license plates, the Ford sign right there came from that guy's collection. My neon Oldsmobile came from his collection. Like we talk about, a lot of this stuff that we do is the memories, what it reminds us of, what it takes us back to. These license plates are more than just the license plates for me. It's because of the guy that had them in his collection, put the collection together, and now I'm able to add it to my collection because now, he's not doing well. His health is starting to slip, so that's the thanks, Peter. Peter likes the Ford sign, as a matter of fact. So that's why some of this stuff, sometimes it's not just the piece, it's where you got the piece, and that's what this particular collection is for me. So like I said, he's still with us, but his health is failing. Time has come for him to thin some stuff down, and fortunately I was able to add these to my collection. And like I said, that tie, since I've known this guy my whole life, really, he came to middle school when for a history project for me to talk about the Model T Ford to one of my history classes. So that's right, John, it is the memories. And that's where it's not just the memories of the plates, it's the memories of the person, of where this collection came from. And now that I can add it to my collection, I'll always have that. And I'll always remember this guy. Even years from now, when he's probably not going to be with us anymore, I've got a little tangible piece that helps, keep me remember all that stuff of those guys that I've always known. So anyway, let's get started on some of this stuff. Like I said, we're going to check out probably the early ones tonight. There's so many of them here that it's going to take some time to get through this entire collection. So we'll probably do part of them tonight, part of them next week. I'll show you a glimpse of the whole collection. From what I can tell, these are every one of them, original paint, non-restored plates. What's the coolest 89 car? That's the 1989 can plate belongs to. Yeah. Except the plate is from 1914. So, but we'll go ahead and tip this down. Then we're going to yank the camera off the stand and we're going to check them out. But here we go. I'm going to give you a kind of an overall glimpse of the collection. Now, these actually are hinged. These boards are hinged. Bill Wagon probably came off the vehicle. No, none of these came off of any vehicles that I've had. These have all been in this collection for years and years and years and years and years. These boards, you can't really tell it. They are hinged right here. These were actually made to pin together and stand on their own. So you could pin the hinges and kind of put them at a little bit of an angle and they would all stand up together. Bud digs them. Frank's here with us. So like I said, it's a lot of plates. It's a big collection. Kevin likes it. Tweely D likes it. Dennis thinks it's very nice. Yeah, it's great. Now you can kind of see why I was so excited about it. You know, I kind of let you guys in on a little bit of kind of told you I had it working a few weeks ago. I got them bought last week, and now you can kind of get an understanding as to why I was so geeked out about them. So let's start checking out this early board. Like I said, what I'm probably going to do tonight, kind of what my thought process is, we'll start here with the early boards, with the really early plates, and then we'll probably catch these other two next week. So, as always, questions, comments, be sure to throw them up there. We'll sure try to get to them as we work our way through tonight. But Kenny's made it. Yeah, a few plates, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and do this, start checking these out. And this is every year from 1913 to 1974. So we'll just start right here. Obviously this definitely has some paint loss, some chipping up here, things like that. However, that plate is original paint. I can't see any signs of that plate being repainted. Yes, number one, these are all Kansas. So that plate is 109 years old with original paint, original condition, exactly as you see it, 1913 Kansas. Pretty amazing for that, a piece of tin with paint on that to be in that condition and be 109 years old. We'll drop down one of these. We'll go in order, even though these don't have years. This will be 1914. David W. digs it. Ryan just says it's unreal. So there we go, 1914 Kansas. There again, I think these are all original paint. 1915, I ran this collection by one of my license plate buddies. That's right, John. If these plates could talk, it'd be amazing. Big Jeff says a cool addition to any collection, that's for sure. But I sent pictures of this to a buddy of mine who does a lot of plates, and he said this is probably one of the oddest plates. A 3-digit 1915, he said, is a pretty rare plate. This next plate, which would be, I'm getting lost here, 13, 14, 15, 1916. I've always admired this 1916 plate just because of the way they did the KAN on it. I always thought that was really super cool, the way they kind of put it in this circular pattern, but still squeeze the KAN in it. There again, if we look at these things closely, original paint. I don't think any of these have been restored in any way, shape, or form. Move to 17. Kind of an odd color, almost an olive green, unless it's faded or changed something. Got a little bit of a shadowing from the camera there, but 1917, pretty much a pretty plain plate. Nothing too exciting with the KAN there, just kind of an odd color. 1918, white with kind of some green lettering, same thing. They just kind of flipped the KAN to the other end, but pretty basic, pretty block, nothing too exciting. That's right, John. Would love to know where those are on and all the 2-lane roads they've traveled. That's for sure. 1919. Kind of a gray with kind of a navy blue lettering and background type plate. And there again, some of these are kind of tough to see what color they really were because there is, discoloration, fading, things like that. Because there again, this entire row, every one of them, well over 100 years old. So everything we just looked at, all 7 pieces, every one of those plates is original paint and over 100 years old. I know what year they are, Jim, because they're in order. That's the only reason I know. Starting with our 1913, which was the first year Kansas issued a state plate. So that's the reason that I know what year these are, because we're going in order. Now, 1920 was the last year with no year on them. Nope, no Hudson badges, Gary. This is 20. There again, kind of plain black, white lettering, KAN on just on the left side. Nothing too exotic. Now, here's where it gets easier. In 21, they started putting the year on them. So now it makes it a lot more clear. Can you imagine how it would look in a man cave? Yeah, they're in my man cave now, so that's kind of where they're going to be that's why I bought this collection. This is for me, and I'm going to start selling you guys some of my stuff that I had rad hold for years, so that at some point in time I could possibly do this. Then in 22, they just kind of flipped the colors. Black background, yellow letters in 22. 23, kind of a white background, black letters. We sold one of these plates the other night. Just packaged it up today. It's right, Tweedledee. They look great behind the bar, that's for sure. So one of these 23s is going to the Highlander, an extra one that I had set back. 24, green, kind of a white letters against a green background on the 24. Big job. It's neat to see how they tried different placement of the lettering and the colors. Yep, that's true. Now, for 25, they went red. Red with a white background. Obviously completely different than any of these that we've been looking at, to go to a red plate for 25. Amy, we were really poor growing up that we saved every color of plate for the grain truck and would wait to see what color they issued every year and apply it for that color in the plate. A lot of people save these things, but these early ones are still tough to find. We go to 26. Kind of looks like a bluish. It almost looks black, but if you look close, it kind of does look like a blue with white letters on the Kansas 26 plate. Let's move up here to 27. 27, kind of just a basic battleship gray plate, year on one side, KAN on the other with black letters. Now, these plates are not standard size. These are a little bit larger. They're a little longer than a normal plate. They're about the same height, maybe slightly skinnier and a little longer on all of these early ones. We go to the 28 plate, back to kind of the white background with some blue letters. We can see the checking and stuff in the colors. Once again, I think everything we've looked at is original paint. John, I'm digging the 22 the best. The 22 right there. Brandon likes 27. The 27 plate, even though it is kind of basic battleship gray, it almost does kind of make a statement. Then back to our 28. Then in 29, they kind of shrunk them. They are almost more to like a standard size plate, but it didn't last. That's what was kind of odd. Alan and C, these look like rear tags. Did Kansas issue one or two plates? Typically one plate. Kansas at this point is a one plate state. I don't know if back in the day they required two or not, but I know as of right now it is a single plate state. The 29, very bright with black letters. And in 30, kind of the same thing. And these are kind of more of a standard size plate than what we would expect to see today. Now, one thing that we start to see on this 1930 plate that doesn't mean anything to you guys, but it will to me, and it will mean more next week as we get through the rest of these plates, is these numbers 33. Kansas had a number assigned to every county back in those days. I'm Big Guy 45 made it. I am located in Barton County, which is right about in the center of Kansas. Barton County was number 33. So we'll see more of this. It becomes more prevalent as we go into some of these other plates. These other ones did not have the 33 on them. I don't know if this was the first year they mandated that or if that's when they assigned them. That I couldn't tell you. But we will start to see 33 at the beginning of a lot of these plates. Now, when we go to the next plate in 1931, throw something made it tonight. We go to a skinnier, narrower plate. 29 and 30 was basically almost the same plate size that we know today. But in 31, it went to a long, skinny, slender plate. Once again, we've got our 33 on it. This is also a green background, white lettering plate, yet narrower and longer. When we go to 32, Orange with black letters. Once again, we see our 33. This is a Barton County plate, and it's longer and narrower than what we know today. And the last one on this board, the 1933, this is also kind of a navy blue background with light white lettering. Once again, we see our 33 on it. Big job. We had yellow plates in the 60s through part of the 70s, and funny how people would voice their opinions when they changed the white to red letters. Yeah. So 1933 is the last plate on this board. So we'll kind of take a step back and kind of take these things in overall. When you look at the history on this board, it's pretty amazing. Just like there were several comments of, what were those things on? What did they see? The miles that they've traveled. And when you put that into perspective, it's pretty interesting. You got to remember, who bought these plates? That's right, the long, skinny ones do kind of resemble the overseas shapes, our shapes. These plates in 32 and 33, in the middle of the Great Depression, what were those people going through at that point? Some of them may not have even been able to buy their license plate. You think about stuff like that, and that's kind of crazy what was going on in the world at that point. And you look back at those glimpses in time and think about, wow, what have these things been through? What did they see? Where have they been? What vehicles were they on? Where did they drive them? What did they do? Alan from Arizona's here. It's, really kind of mind-boggling when you think about the history that a board like this could tell. You get over here in the mid-teens, World War I era. That's right, the Dust Bowl, Prohibition, all that stuff, all in this time period. The stock market crash in 29. That could have been on some guy's car who was doing really well at the beginning of the year and was broke at the end of the year. All the bugs they hit, yeah, are run and shine, yeah. People could have been running moonshine with them. There again, it's all a piece of history that, these plates live through. So, that's kind of what we've got for tonight. Get this remounted back up here. Maybe. John's digging the collection too. Appreciate that. So yeah, it's like I said, to me, I'm super excited about the collection. Like I said, not only because of the quality of the collection, John says better than any art he's seen, but where it came from. The guy that put this together, the guy that with his hands built this collection for his enjoyment over the years, and now the fact that I had the opportunity to buy it from them to add it to my collection, it means a lot to me, just as much as the plates, knowing where it came from. And that's what's important. So, like I said, it's a great collection. I'm super excited about it. But, and like I said, obviously we'll get into some more of these next week. Tweedledee, you're going to continue the collection. Yeah, I probably will eventually. I think I've got everything after that anyway, so it's not too big a deal. A lot of this stuff you get into the 60s and 70s, that stuff's accessible. We've been selling some of that stuff on the auctions. Jim, my dad and brothers left Kansas in 29 to work in Michigan, and my grandma and grandpa in 35. Wow, that's kind of a cool story. So Jim's ancestors come from Kansas in the 20s. John said, my wife said, no, I can't make a set like that from over the couch. Kenny, very cool. No wonder you kept mentioning it Sunday. Yeah, it is. Frank digs them. I'm excited about them, like I said, not just the plates, but the story and where they came from. You have any idea what part of your shop or office you display them? No, not for sure. Peter says, amazing shape. Absolutely. Jim said they're around Bonner Springs, so that was up by Kansas City is where they came from. So there we go. There we go. Like I said, I wanted to focus on the early ones tonight just because I knew it was going to take some time. Norma, I just love license plates. Have a collection yourself. That's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing. Tweely D might have family in Kansas. David W. Preserve and share. He would be proud, and that's what I hope. I hope he would be proud. In fact, his wife, she came by to go over some paperwork on some stuff that I'm helping her with, and I brought her in here. I said, you want to see where they're going? And she said, absolutely. So I brought her in here because she hadn't been in this building, and showed her around. I said, this is where the collection's going. This is where the collection's staying. And she felt very good about it, so she could tell him, because he's in assisted living now, so she'll be able to tell him where they're at, what happened to them, and things like that. So that's right, Alan Dillinger, maybe Bonnie and Clyde temporarily borrowed one of those plates. Well, actually, Bonnie and Clyde did come through Great Bend, so, I mean, maybe one of those plates was on the car they stole. So what year was the round Kansas plate? Norman says, hit the like button. Appreciate that. This one here, this round one, if this is the one we're talking about, let me kick this down a little bit. I'm sure we're talking about this one, which, like I mentioned earlier, this is my favorite one. I've always liked this plate. 1913, 14, 15, and 16. These go in order starting at 1913, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So this is 1916 with that round KAN on it. That plate has always stood out to me personally. And I think I've got one or maybe two others. That one I got to decide whether I'm going to auction that one or not, because I've always had a thing for that plate. I always thought that was a super unique piece. So anyway, now you can kind of see why when we started this video I said we're just going to worry about the early ones tonight. That's why, because we're over 20 minutes already. And yeah, Kenny digs the 16 as well. So same as my favorite. So, but the 13 is difficult to find. I mean, any of the early stuff is difficult to find, but the 13 is extremely difficult to find. What year did they stop the 33? They went to BT in 51, according to these other plates, based on the rest of the plates that are here. And we'll talk about that next week when we get into the other boards and start checking those out. But 51 actually has BT on it for Barton County. That's right, Big John, what it would take to buy and duplicate. And like I said, most of these I've got. I don't think I have a 13. I think I've got everything from 14 on in some way, shape, or form. I just got to get all the piles dug out that I've had rat hole for all these years and see what I'm going to keep and what we're going to start auctioning off on Sunday nights. And I know they're Kansas plates. I know some of you guys may not be quite as cool as others, but Frank, my great-grandparents left Kansas in 1893. Well, that's cool. David W., have a good week. See you Sunday. Absolutely. A lot of history sitting there. That's 100% right, John. Yes, there are Warrior plates in here as well. Since we got to 33 tonight, then obviously we will get into those next week because, like I said, we're well over 20 minutes. We only got through the first board tonight. I hope we get through both boards next Tuesday night without being on here all night. So Bill says, see you next Sunday. Awesome. Hope to see you then too. But anyway, that's what I've got for tonight. What else is coming up? We actually washed off the thingy-mabobber, whatchamacallit today, that we picked up Sunday. I was telling you about Sunday night. It is Volkswagen platform. It is titled as a Volkswagen. Still have no idea what the body came from. Could have been J.C. Whitney. Could have been any number of mail order type bodies. But the thingy-majigget, whatchamacallit, we washed it off today. So I've got a video that I'll have out maybe tomorrow night. In the barn, out of the barn, and then I washed it today, so we got the first wash in 30 years on the barn find thingamajigger, whatchamacallit, Volkswagen. So we'll be getting that up. We'll have some more new inventory on Friday night. And then Sunday night, we'll be back 7 o'clock Sunday evening for Sunday night live chat. So anyway, that's about what I've got for tonight. I will keep an eye out for a few more seconds for any more questions or comments as we get ready to wrap things up. But you know what's coming up for next week. Anthony says, great show. Appreciate that, Anthony. Peter, I've got every state in order on one and one for the capital in order of every state. Wow, that's a pretty good collection for down under, Peter. You're doing pretty good down there. So anyway, with that, I'm going to get ready to sign off. We'll look at some more license plates next week. You bet Kevin says, everybody have a great evening. And now you guys have a little bit better understanding as to why the last couple times we've talked, why I was so excited. John, thank you for sharing the collection. I'm a geek when it comes to it. Yeah, Norma loved it. Absolutely. Anthony says goodnight. Peter says see you. Thanks for being here, everybody. I super appreciate it. Shopcat's here, just barely, but you made it. But now everybody understands why I was kind of geeking out over the license plate collection. You've seen part of it up close. You've seen the whole thing overall. We'll dig some more into it here next week and check some more of it out. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you swinging by. Does the abbreviation for Kansas KS? Yes, that is correct. Bud says, very cool. See you Sunday. Absolutely. Kenny says, thanks. Still need to call anytime better than others. Anytime usually from 8 to 8, Kenny. So I do have to go look at some stuff first thing in the morning, but usually 8 to 8. If I miss you, if you call me between 8 in the morning and 8 at night and I miss you, that's just because I'm on the phone with somebody else. So that's right. John says you can see the old farmers putting them on their trucks. That's 200% correct. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump off. We'll check out some more of this collection soon. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And you now have a little better understanding of why I was geeked out. Thanks for being here tonight, everybody. I super appreciate it. We will see you Sunday Night Live. Be sure to check out the super cool new inventory videos coming up this week. And everybody have a great week. We'll see you Sunday. Thanks for watching.